Sir George Martin, the legendary music producer, has died at the age of 90. Martin, who was most famous for producing almost all the Beatles albums, is considered one of the music's most talented creative talents. In a career spanning over 7 decades, he won 6 Grammys and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Sir Paul McCartney described him as a second father. Speaking in 2008, George Harrison's widow gave an insight into George Martin's role within the Beatles.
I think, they were so young, and George, he said he always seemed like as if, he was the adult in the room. And, you look now, there wasn't that much age difference, but, they were just 4 kind of scruffy guys. And, he enabled them to manifest their music.
Well, TRT World's Craig Copetas joins me now for more on this. Craig, Paul McCartney has described Martin as a second father. Just how important was he to the Beatles?
Well, he was very important, but with Sir Paul's speak no evil of the dead, George Harrison and Ringo Starr really got a lot from him and admired him. Lennon and McCartney, you could look it up in the history books, they trivialized George Martin's role with the Beatles. In fact, George Martin himself always played down his role as the 5th Beatle. He didn't like the phrase.
So why would Paul McCartney say such a thing then?
Oh, who knows? They're rock stars. Sometimes rock stars can be petulant. Having said all that, George Martin, everyone will tell you who was around in those days, was Sergeant Pepper. He taught the band how to play. When they came in, as Harrison's widow said, they came in the studio. Martin didn't like him at first, but what he did like was the musical songwriting ability of Lennon and McCartney. And that's what put it together. Because remember, at the time, every other record company in London told the Beatles to get lost. Martin was the only one who gave them a hearing, and he did it at Abbey Road Studio.
Looks like he betted on a sure thing then.
Yeah.
And Craig, also, you met George Martin. What kind of a man was he?
He was very soft-spoken. He was an orchestral leader. He was a classical musician who on the side, by the way, used to produce comedy albums for British comedy stars like Spike Milligan and the Goons, Peter Sellers. But he was a trained classical pianist. He played the oboe, the most difficult instrument in the orchestra, some would say. And he had a great ear. He was like a great editor with a great writer. He produced the Beatles. He molded them, he shaped them, he let them do what they wanted to do, but when it gets down to the sound engineering studio, he would sit there at the machine and do the mixing and all of the things that you and I hear when we listen to a Beatles song.
A true rock star,
Oh,
George
yeah.
Martin. May he rest in peace. Thank you,
Yes.
Craig.